This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brooks Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brooks Bloom's three-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey, where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space. G'day everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Ads and Dunks podcast. I just said Ads and Dunks podcast. Of course, joined by my best mate, who is another leg up on me, if you want to call it, in the Brooks Blooms Cup. The Brisbane Lions were too good in the very end, and Josh played a great game as always. But we'll touch on that obviously throughout the potty. As I said, you're one up again. Hopefully I can be there for the next game, which is I think round 18, round 19. But anyway, I welcome you onto our potty. Joshy boy, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Thanks for the long-winded intro. It was nice, but yeah, we did go one up. It was a tough game, which we'll go into shortly, but it's been a bit of an interesting week. Obviously, you got getting down to Adelaide pretty early to do our appearances and stuff for Gather Round. And unfortunately, you weren't there, so we didn't get to catch up, mate. But it was nice to see a few old Bulldogs, friends and staff members and stuff like that. So to see them on game day was quite good.
I really hope Brado leaves the intro in, which I know he will, because he's messaging us now, laughing about my intro, saying Agsy instead of Adsy. So my mistake, Agsy. You can call me Agsy going forward. But how was it? How was the vibe? I know last year we spoke about it's kind of similar to grand final week. Obviously, it's an amazing round to be a part of, and for the city to really open it. And I felt like that last year. I can only imagine it's probably grown a little bit stronger.
Yeah, for sure. It was actually going to be my Brooks Bloom of the week gather round. I think the way that that's all been set up, and the fans, we talked about it last year. The build up and everyone being around and vocal and so happy and positive, like. It's an incredible thing, and to be out there, and the weather was spot on. Like, if anything, it was probably a bit too hot. So there was no downfall on fans turning up to open training sessions or not clearances, appearances. So yeah, there's a lot of things that were great about the whole event, and it was nice to see a few people down there that not only were you don't really know, but also ones that you know too. So they come from far and wide to enjoy the round, and yeah, it was a good one.
You mentioned obviously fans and whatnot, but is it awkward at all? Like, do you run into, and I kind of probably know the answer because you ran into the Bulldogs boys the day before the training session, but do you run into other teams as well?
Yeah, you cross some paths. Like we shared a hotel with Essendon. There were Geelong boys, there were Doggies boys around, like coffee shops, all that kind of stuff. Like you see so many people that so it's hard to actually hide. Like the first day we were there, I think, or the second day we were there, I went to a cafe and I saw like probably 10 or 15 people that I knew like straight away. And then it's like you can't really get away from it. But it's a great vibe. Like to me, it feels like grand final week a little bit. Like it's like that. Everyone's there for the one thing. Everyone knows footy, loves footy, lives and breathes footy. So no matter where you are, you're always in a spot talking about footy, I guess. So but no, the captain's run, mate, that was awkward as I had to do the press conference, and your boys were meant to be finished training, and I was meant to be doing it with Ed Richards after your training, but I've rocked up and they're still training. Everyone's out on the ground and I'm like walking through the crowd, bro, through the Bulldogs fans, and all like naughty and all that were yelling out to me. So it was a bit of a laugh, but it was a bit awkward too.
What was the reception like? Geez, we're really struggling with that wording. You've said clearances, I've said Agsy and reception. What was the reception like from the Bulldogs fans?
Nah, they were pretty good. There was a few people that might have said a few things that I won't repeat, but mostly it was pretty good to see a few people that I've obviously seen along the journey. So to get a few photos and sign a few signatures felt weird on the Bulldogs jumper, but it was good, mate. It was nice to see everyone.
I think the easy thing for you, speaking of signing things, well, you did wear the number 20 at the Bulldogs, but you're mainly known for wearing the number 5, although you wore 20 in the flag. It's easy when you sign signatures now. you always just obviously for Brisbane and for the Bulldogs, you can just do Jay Dunkley 5. Where me, I've got to, if I ever sign Giants, I've got to remember to do 17. If I obviously sign Collingwood stuff, which I do a lot of Collingwood stuff still, obviously sign with the number 7. So I will give you that. It is an easy one for you to remember. You can just do Jay Dunkley 5 on everything.
Yeah, it is. It is nice. The only times I sign with 20 is when I'm signing the Premiership Guernsey. So other than that, I'm signing 5 on the doggy stuff.
If I was you, I reckon I'd roll with Jay Dunkley 20 on all the Bulldog stuff because you're going to be obviously known as a premiership player for the Bulldogs for the rest of your life. So if I was you, but obviously I'm not. How was the rest of your week outside of footy? Anything interesting happen? I know you bought a car actually. Fill the listeners in. Brand new car.
Oh, yeah. I did get a new car. Picked it up on Monday morning. So yesterday morning. Got a nice Ford Ranger. You made me, well, not made me, but sort of put it in my mind because you got a new Raptor last year and I just loved it. So we got the 2 dogs here. So to be able to take them around in the back and put a few things in the back that, are a bit messy at times that you can't really put in a car. So it was a good idea to get a ute and picked it up yesterday, mate. So absolutely loving it.
They're elite, aren't they? They're well, yeah, obviously you can utilize that when you go because I've got no doubt you'll eventually drive it home down to Yarram eventually.
Yeah, definitely.
So you'll be able to utilize it probably a lot more than what I do, considering you've got the country background and I don't. But that's cool. I can't wait to off season be able to drive my car up there and we can go camping together, mate, and hang out in our utes, which is exciting.
Mate, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to show you a few ropes, in the countryside of things. Make sure you get your ute out because right now that thing's an absolute city ute.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's fair to say it is. It's been on the beach a couple of times up in where are we going? What's that place? I always forget. You go and
Double Island.
That Double Island, yeah, been there a couple of times. So it drives smoothly on the sand as well. I mean, you probably shouldn't be speeding on there. I'm not saying I'm speeding, but you can imagine that I'm driving pretty quick. But outside of that, anything else happen?
Nah, not really, mate. There was a pretty hectic week in terms of footy and travel, and we got back at midnight on Sunday or early hours of Sunday morning. So Sunday was a bit of a killer. Just got organised, ready for the week. We have a 5-day break, so not a lot to do other than recover and get ready for the next game. So it was a bit of a slower week in terms of outside of footy, but looking forward to this week now and a short week it is. But what about yourself, mate? How's it been down in Melbourne? I know you didn't get across to Adelaide, unfortunately, but what have you been up to?
Yeah, so it's been quite unique the last couple of weeks because the boys have been away. They travelled to Perth last week, so I didn't see them Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I've seen them Tuesday, and the last time I'd seen them prior that was Thursday. And then going to Gather Round, basically the same thing. So kind of feel like a part-time footballer at the moment. So I spent a lot of downtime. What have I done? I watched a bit of footy on the weekend. Obviously, I love my footy, so I watched most games. Obviously, watched our game, the Bulldogs Brisbane game quite intently, which was frustrating to say the least because, I feel like we're playing some good footy, but obviously there's a reason why you guys are the best side in the league at the moment. Watched a whole lot of Sopranos, so I'm nearly done The Sopranos, and it is, it is on my rankings list. It is a 9.8 right now, and I've got about 6 episodes left of the last season. So, and at the same time, I'm getting a lot of TV recommendations from a lot of fans. So keep sending them through to me because once this is done, which probably be done in the next couple of days, I'll be starting another series, which I needed. Actually, what I've promised Kim is I'll watch something with her because I'll go off and watch Sopranos whilst we probably got time to hang out. So I did a whole lot of that. And then, as I said to you the last couple of weeks, there's no update from the Noble Park side of things because there was no game, but had a few sessions with the Noble Park boys, which has been quite fun and it's been quite, what's the word? When I'm at the moment, obviously I'm not playing footy and there are times where I'm really struggling with not being able to play and it's frustrating and it's hard. Sometimes it's really hard. So to be able to fall back on the under 17 boys and be able to help those boys has really taken geez, we're struggling with words, has really taken a lot of those stresses and, a bit of that anxiety away. So really enjoying that, probably to the point where I'm annoying him more because I'm spending a lot of time communicating with him and training with him. So, spend a bit of time doing that. And now we're here, mate. So that's basically my week in a nutshell.
Nice, mate. It's been obviously a tough time for you being on the sidelines. Have you got an update of where you're at or what it looks like in the coming weeks?
No, I don't. I don't, my friend. I am training. That's all I can say. So I'm full training. So, hopefully in the next couple of weeks it'd be nice. But body's feeling really good. Body's feeling really good. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks it'd be nice.
Oh, well, before we move on to this week's games, have you got a bloom of the week that you want to shout out? Mine was obviously gather round, so we might as well get stuck into that.
Yes, absolutely. My bloom of the week is in the NBA world. So the NBA is obviously finished. The regular season's done. We're about to be in the play-in tournament, but I just want to give a 10, 20-second spiel on arguably one of the greatest players of all time, Nikola Jokic, who for the third time, I think, has now, it's the third time in the history of the game that there's been a player average a triple-double. So Oscar Robertson and Russell Westbrook were the other two. Nikola Jokic is just average a triple-double as a center. I believe he top 2 in points, rebounds, and assists, and his team had another winning season. So, look, he ain't going to win the MVP because SGA is going to win the MVP, but Nikola Jokic is by far and away the best player in the league, and he can go down as one of the greats of all time. So he's my Brooks Bloom of the week.
I don't mind that. He just keeps getting it done, doesn't he? He's one of those guys that you watch and you're like, geez, how does this guy just back it up day to day to day with the body that he's got? He's so big and he's got a lot of length on him. It's quite incredible to see him go to work.
Mate, what blows my mind with him is you watch his off season. Well, a lot of it is left to the imagination because we don't see anything, but all we ever see is him at the races, smoking and drinking.
I was going to say, yeah.
So this guy is either doing something where no one sees, or he just has that ability to, when he gets on a basketball court, he just has that uncanny ability to be, match fit and just dominate. So, yeah, he's my bloom of the week, and I'm really excited about these NBA playoffs. It's going to be an exciting time.
I like it. Moving on to the footy this week, what did you think or see? Did you see anything that stood out to you?
No, there wasn't really anything because the most disappointing thing for the round as a fan really was most games were blowouts other than our game, which was a great game, like a spectacle from a fan's point of view, and the Adelaide Geelong game, which just gives everyone a really good reminder about Geelong. I feel like the last, I think round 2 and 3 they lost, I believe, but it wasn't really like they weren't good losses. They probably lost where they should have won. So they've given us a really good reminder about how good they are, and they play Adelaide so well. So for them to knock off your boys, the Crows, who were one of the informed teams of the comp, very impressed by how they go about it. And Paddy Dangerfield, I mean, I mentioned him last week, but yeah, he just looks so fit and fresh, firing. Like he looks unreal at the moment. And to have him play as a deep forward for a large part of the game, it is such a weapon for Geelong.
Yeah, I agree. He looks right at home in the role that he's playing at the moment. And clearly he's got so much confidence in his ability to perform. But outside of that game, that night, Baz gave a bird to the crowd. What did you think of that situation? Or I don't know, I want to get your thoughts.
Yeah. What's my thoughts? Well, obviously it's not the best look for the game. Obviously, we all know that. But listening to what the reason behind it is, knowing Baz as well, he's very proud of his team and proud of his teammates, and he'll always protect them. So to hear that, he went into bat for his captain, Danger, who apparently was getting stuff said to him that is not good, which I don't know what was said, but it was that bad it couldn't be repeated. So for him to stick up for him, kind of it's like, good on you, Baz. So anyway, it's obviously not a good look, but he's a passionate man. What about you?
mate, I kind of feel sorry for him because you think about, like, I agree with you. I think that it's not a good look for the game, but you think about who's getting filmed at that time of the game when you're walking off
Oh,
the ground. Like if that's not caught
absolutely.
on vision, like nothing is said about it, right? But the fan that says whatever they say to danger, like, can just say that and get away with
Mm,
it. So
not be
I'm a bit
filmed.
like, well, it should be like a bit of a two-way street. Like, yeah, Baz got filmed doing it. It probably happens more often than not. But if it's not Baz, does it get spoken about? Like, because he's sort of identified as that person that's up to mischief most
Mm,
of the time. You know what I'm
mm.
saying? Like, I kind of feel sorry for
Oh,
him
couldn't agree more, mate.
because he's just a passionate guy and cares about his teammates and only standing up for him, like you said. So it was a bit of a weird one from my point of view. I'm not sure what the fine was that he ended up getting or if he even got one, but yeah, I do feel a bit sorry for him.
If there was, if there was fines for the amount of fans that stick their fingers up at players, oh mate, uh, well, there'd be no money in the world left. Like it's the amount
Yeah,
of times you're walking off the ground or whatever it is, especially after a loss, right? Especially after a loss, walking off the ground. The amount of fans that are sticking their fingers up, yeah, like so to put it into, I guess if that makes sense, put it into context a little bit against Baz doing it, like yeah, it's kind of you understand it's not the best look because we're obviously role models in our eyes and in kids' eyes and people's eyes, but at the end of the day we're human beings. So when someone's going to have a dig at you, I'll dig at your captain. Like if it was me in that situation and someone was spraying them, like it'd take every bit of me not to bite back and want to have a crack back. So um, at the end of the day, what I love is that Baz is performing and he's playing at a high level, and it's great to see because he's someone who's had a lot of challenges, and last year was obviously a real challenge for him considering he didn't get to play. And now we're all getting reminded about how good of a footballer he is. So it's great to see, and Geelong have a real weapon there.
I completely agree with you. He's going really well, Baz. But anything else that stood out? I feel like we should get on to our game because it was probably the next in line on the Saturday.
Mm.
Give your thoughts, mate. We were texting after the game. It was a bit of a seesawing
Yeah.
affair. The second quarter obviously got some dominance.
Yeah. I'm going to be very optimistic, and I'm always going to be optimistic because I believe in the group that we have and the players that we got and whatnot. I think it's a great experience for the boys. There's players that were playing, like Cooper Hines played his first game. Obviously, Josh Dolan, his first year. Riley Sanders, Joel Fraser, Lockie Bramble down back. We've got guys who are experiencing really good oppositions, but playing in these games that ebb and flow. So for us to have played the way we did in the first half, like you got to look at that as a positive. We clearly had you boys who, and I know what you're going to say, you'll play it down a little bit, but you guys clearly are the best team in the comp and you're showing that. So to have you guys, you know, to have challenged you guys in the first half, like it's pleasing. It's good to see that. It backs our footy up. We know that if we can play like that, we're going to be a hard team to play against most weeks. It's just, and I feel like a bit of deja vu at the moment because I've said this more so last year. This year, we've been in most games and it hasn't really ebbed and flowed the way it did against you boys, where it was, I think you guys kicked 84 points or something after, I don't know, a certain, like just after 3/4 time, I believe. Sorry, after halftime. So again, feel like it's a bit of deja vu last year saying we played good enough footy, but there are periods where we allowed teams to get run-ons. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what we did. And again, credit where credit's due. You boys lifted up your contest. You won some crucial one-on-ones. I feel like down back, you guys were really, like in the second half in particular, like super strong as a unit, not just, the one-on-ones, really strong as a unit. And from a watching from the outside point of view, it just looked like you guys worked a lot harder than what we did in the second half. And that's where it's frustrating because a lot of the stuff where I feel like we lost were controllable areas. So yeah, whether that's, focus or players not being switched on where we probably should be, that was where it was probably the most frustrating because a team like you guys give you one goal, you're going to get some momentum, 2 goals, 3 goals. Then it comes a point where how can we stop this? And we just couldn't. So, take a lot of positives from it, but at the same time, clearly got to understand that it's definitely one we let slip. What about you? Obviously being out there, how do you feel?
Yeah, no, I agree with what you're saying. I feel like the way that the doggies, your boys, played in the first half was, well, the second quarter especially, where there was a landslide of goals. I don't know. As a player out there, I felt a bit, like helpless. We couldn't really do much in the moment to stop yous, and it was probably flicked onto the other foot in the second half, and it was your boys feeling that, but. It's a game of momentum these days, I feel, and to be able to arrest it that's the trick. Like, if you can arrest momentum quickly and somehow start winning the contest again, or do something that's going to slow the game down to be able to then get it back on your terms, like that is the hardest thing to find at the moment. Like you see Port Adelaide Hawthorn game, Port have kicked 11 or 12 goals before Hawthorn have kicked 2. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's such a so many small margins in the game. But from our point of view, I mean, it was a really good response after half time. But, mate, the second quarter to us as a midfield group was really embarrassing. Like, we got smashed. And if we play like that against anyone, we will get torched. So it was a good reality check for us. Came together at half time and addressed a few things quite openly and honestly, which was good. And then came out after half time and really took it up to you. So, yeah, it was a nice result in the end for us, obviously winning the game, but at the same time, the starts are what killing us at the moment with the start of this year. So we're working on that, and hopefully we can start well over the coming weeks as well.
Yeah, I certainly feel exactly how what you said just then was kind of reflective in how it was. And you mentioned, obviously, the Midgie boys really upped your ante in the second half, and that's not going for people listening, upping your ante isn't necessarily going above and beyond. It's going back to what you guys were good at. And that's obviously, whether it's you and Lockie winning the contested ball, winning the inside work, the Ashy boys and Hugh McGluggy's been, bringing the shine and bringing the outside work. Like, you just really complemented each other. And at the same time, it also looked, it kind of looked like we were running harder but not smarter, if you know what I mean. Like, it looked like we were trying to overwork in a way to try and stop you boys. And that's something you can often find as an individual. That's what you tend to do when shit hits the fan, basically. And you're not necessarily doing the best thing for your team. So it looked like that from watching from a fan's point of view. It looked like that, and understanding it. And then, as you said, you guys were able to get on top, and another one we let slip, which is disappointing. One thing I'd take from the game as well is, if it's going to look like that for the next 10 years, it's going to be a great matchup between Das and Harry Andrews. Like, that matchup was unreal, and it's fair to say that I don't think many players, and you can probably answer this more because you play with him, but I don't think many players has challenged Andrews the way Das did, and that's reflective in how good of a player, well, obviously Harry is, but how good of a player that freaking Das is. Like, even I find myself watching Das like, whoa, how does he just do that? Like, you can't stop that.
It's crazy you say that, because I remember when he first got drafted, right? And we were like, he just do things at training. You were there, I reckon, in his first year, and he just do these little things at training. You're like, shit, like, he can kick as good as on his left than his right. Like, is he a lefty or a righty? Like, or taking one-handed jukes, like, just doing things. And now we're starting to see the fruits of the labor that he's put in. And, mate, when you're out there on the field next to him, you stand next to him, you're like, oh, yeah, like, he's pretty big. But when he puts his arms up, like, it's hard, very, very hard to stop. And it's going to be an unbelievable force to be reckoned with over the next 10, 15 years in the competition. So you're lucky to have him in your team.
Yeah, we're certainly lucky. And he's got some brothers coming through. So hopefully I'm still around when they come through, because that'll all I want is that elusive flag. So if they can help me, then that'd be very nice. Anything else from our game you want to touch on, or we're moving forward?
No, we're moving forward, mate. We're moving forward. What else did you see on the Sunday games? The Hawks-Port game was pretty good to watch from a spectator's point of view for Port Adelaide.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was hoping it was going to be a little bit closer.
Yeah.
But then again, it's one of those reminders, almost like the Geelong game on Friday, that you give any team an opportunity, like they're going to obviously score the way they did, but play the way they did, and again, it's another reminder to us and to the league that Port are a very good side. I mean, obviously they haven't started the way they want to start, but I feel like it takes till about round 5, 6, 7 where teams start to really find themselves. And Connor Rosie playing half back, I mean, that is almost looks like a genius move. He looked unreal down there. And for his assets as a player, I feel like that really suits his role. So, yeah, mate, he looked unreal. What about you?
Yeah, I was sitting there on the couch thinking, geez, this is incredible, like what they were doing to the Hawks. But yeah, I agree. Like the Connor Rosie move was really good. Yeah, a lot of things were just going like Port's way. It was insane. Like when you went, like I just talked about momentum before, but you're talking about margins in the game and the ball bouncing one way and it was just bouncing Port's way every single time.
Oh.
So it was it was a tough night for the Hawks, but I'm sure they'll review it and everyone will write them off next week and they'll come out and show the AFL world what they're capable of again. So yeah, it's just the competition that we play in these days. Those games happen and moments happen like that, but it's just good for the game that we can see, a team in Hawthorn get beat by Port Adelaide who, have sort of probably been down on the last couple of weeks, but straight away they come back and they're back in business. So it's good to see.
I'll tell you who, and I'm hoping it is the case by I think it's round 8, you guys play each other, but you boys and the Gold Coast Suns, I think, play round 8 or round 7, maybe.
I think it's 8.
If you both can stay undefeated, and the way they're playing at the moment, they're playing some ripping footy. It'll be built up as probably the biggest Q clash to date. So they are seriously, and I'll always think back to what one of their players said. I don't remember who it was. Might have been Mac Andrew. Say how it takes good 12 months to understand a new system and how you want to play and whatnot. And I think he said that about Damien Hardwick when he came in, and it was going to take a while for them to understand how he wants them to play and whatnot. I feel like he's hit the nail on the head there because the way they're playing is great footy. And like I think about historically watching Gold Coast, even early days at the Giants, I would think a lot of our wins were off the back of players playing unbelievable games, if you know what I mean. So we would have Callum Ward and Toby Green and, Josh Kelly, Tom Scully, like guys, we'd rely on guys to have massive games to get us over the line. And there's been a little bit of that, probably not much last year, but prior to that, there's been a lot of that. You're relying on when Gary Ablett was there, and then after that, you rely on, whether it's Noah Anderson, Matt Rowell, whoever it is. Now it looks like, they are so system based and they play such good football for each other that they're a very strong side and they're going to be a very, very hard team to beat.
Yeah, I agree. Watching them from afar so far this year has been that even contribution that you talk about, obviously led by their midfielders in Rowell and Anderson and other guys, Tuke Miller as well. But it has seemed to be like a lot more even across the board. And yeah, the team system that they're playing at the moment is clearly working. So good on them, and see how they go. Obviously, over the coming weeks as well.
3-2. We got our 3-2-1. What's it called? What's it called again?
Yep. So I was just about to say that it's called the Bloomin' Dunkalaw Award. So let's get it going, mate. Give us your 3-2-1 from the week.
Yeah, it was a hard one because there was a lot of good performances, and I don't want to always reward players that just dominate. You know what I mean? Like you want to, and I know you've been doing that. You've been very good at that. So it's been a hard one, but I've come up with my 3. So at the same time, you're going to reward players who, like, if they do dominate and it just jumps out at you, you have to reward them. And my 3 goes to Sam Walsh from Carlton. And there's a couple of reasons behind this. Is he's been critiqued at the start of the year. So he's been critiqued for a large part of the first 4 games. And I love when a player comes out and bounces back. And to have whatever he had and kicked, I think he had 35 or something, kicked 3. It was a very impactful game. He was clearly the best player on the ground. So he's my 3. My 2 goes to the game on Thursday night, so Geelong. And it's not Bailey Smith. It's not Max Holmes, not Paddy Dangerfield. So you'll be very proud of this pick. It is Tom Atkins. Reason why I'm going Tom Atkins is because of the unheralded stuff that he does. And what I mean by that is the amount of pressure / tackling, contested ball that he does for their side, unreal. And I feel like he had some enormous moments. There was a moment where he smothered and laid a tackle, ended up being a Geelong goal in the last quarter, which was just a momentum shifting goal. Something as a teammate that you jump off, you love, and you freaking, you want to do for them. So he's my 2 votes. I felt like he was unbelievable. And the 1 vote was hard. I tossed and turned between a few, but I'm going to give it to Toby Green, GWS Giants. I feel like, if I'm comparing it to last year, where, again, another player who was really critiqued for his year, he's come out and he is in all-Australian form. He's playing some good footy. So Toby Green's my 1 vote.
I like it. My 3, 2, 1. So I'll start with my 1. I'm going to go Paddy Dangerfield for my 1 because of the reasons that we've all spoken about and saw on Thursday night against the Crows. My 2 votes is going to go to a key forward, and they reckon he's the best key forward since Matty Pavlich at Freo, and that's Josh Tracy.
Oh,
he was dominant in that game against the Tigers, kicking 6, I think he kicked. And then my 3 votes is Zach Butters for Port Adelaide. I think the way that he played and made a stand really early on in that game, I think he had the first 4 goal assists of the game to Port Adelaide. So, he just started the game well and finished the game well, and I just thought he was deserving of the 3 votes from my end. So that's it, mate. That's it.
He is a very good player. Like, you appreciate seeing very good players like A grade, A plus, when they come back to play when you haven't seen them for a while. And I think that was his second game back. And watching him, obviously Sunday night footy, everyone was watching, to see him play in the way he did. Oh my goodness, he is a star. And I know he's a die-hard Western Bulldogs fan. So hopefully there's a time down the track where him and I can be teammates. That'd be nice. But very deserving of his 3 votes.
Nah, I like it. The rest is all done, I think. Before we move on to our next round, we're actually going to get another guest on. And this week it's a bit of a different one, mate. We both know this person. His name's Jimmy Bostock, and we sort of want to give people an idea around, what he's doing, because it's sort of changing the way that not only athletes live, but people with chronic pain live as well. So stay tuned and we'll get him up next. It's going to be a great chat. All right, as I mentioned before coming on this break, we've been lucky enough to be joined by Jimmy Bostock, Adsy. Welcome, Jimmy. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Welcome, mate.
Yeah, I'd say thanks.
Talked a little bit about your stuff that you've been doing and your journey. Sort of want to give fans a bit of an insight into what you've been through, where you started. You obviously started studying physio and stuff like that, but give us a bit of an insight into what you've been through over the journey of your life.
I started as just a water boy for the Broncos as a junior exercise physiologist scientist. Did a couple of years, getting kicked around by the boys at the Bronx from 2001 season when Gordon Tallis was the captain. He's a great guy. When Craig Bellamy was the assistant coach and Wayne Bennett was the coach, it was a great time. I was doing my junior years there as an exercise scientist, and then I graduated that. Physiotherapy then came along, graduated that, then extra study into sports and musculoskeletal physiotherapy, so more a master's, extra study to become a specialist, because I was doing lots of work with the Australian swimming team as a junior physio. And then did a lot of work there. And then I studied more because I felt I just wasn't good enough. So I went into osteopathy, a lot of osteopathic thinking methodologies from America. This beautiful treatment called strain counterstrain out of the Jones Institute in America. I did some visceral manipulation work in France. Acupuncture, had to look into that, of course, because I'm the needle guy.
Mhm.
And dry needling for trigger points, where that came out in Australia in the early 2000s. I did all those courses because I was just searching for an answer that I couldn't find. So frustrating. I was studying my ass off, doing so many exams. And yet, yeah, I was just stuck in the business model as a physiotherapist, and it just wasn't working for me. Because I literally couldn't lie to people, just saying, keep coming back, keep coming back, keep coming back.
Mm.
So I was getting fired because I literally couldn't lie to people. I was a terrible salesman. So yeah, so that's where I started, and then I discovered something with the needle in 2005-6. There was a lovely lady in her early 40s at the time. She had pain for 33 years. And I felt something in her nervous system, and that training comes from feeling things with osteopathic techniques that I was just constantly practicing because I felt maybe that was the key.
Mhm.
I felt something else in the nervous system, in the muscles, that wasn't being talked about in just general medical textbooks and trigger point theories and literature and so on, and acupuncture theories as well. And I stuck a needle in it. I changed the needle as well. I just said I'm going to go a bit thicker, and her pain disappeared. And back then there was just the call, right? Just this, and not so much emails. So I just kept calling her for weeks after, just to check if was it a fluke. Her pain was gone. So, and she was not an athlete, but she was athletic. She liked to go running and go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. She's a mom. She has a business. So, but yeah, it was. So I was like, this is it. This has to be it. So I kept searching, and I kept looking for the same concept, and I discovered more and more. And then it began 2006, and I finished it literally 3 years ago.
Wow, that's an amazing summary for our fans, Jimmy, who
And I
will
called
be
it
like,
nerve locks.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
so that's 2006. So that's 19 years ago.
Yeah.
So basically, tell us, what have you been doing then for the last 19 years?
Based in Brisbane, my reputation and in chronic pains just went like that because I just kept needling people, and the pains did amazing things that was not expected. Because my main passion was to help people who are like, I'm scratching my head, Jimmy, it's in my head. That's what I'm told. I'm very lonely with this pain. No one wants to listen to me. I don't want to take medications forever. I want to get back to living a happy life, functional life with my family, kids, sport, whatever, and I can't do it. And it's driving me crazy. And then this nerve lock stuff helps them. And fast, really fast, which, dunks, as you guys are aware, it helps it really fast, which is unusual. And normally I don't see people normally more than 2 to 3 times, and it's their path is set. That's so I discovered over the time that when I release a nerve lock in your body, it gives you certainty. There's a path that sets. So when a nerve lock disappears in your system, your body gives us the truth. Hence, I don't have to lie anymore. I just listen to the body, and I just give you the guidance, and people actually start getting better. And then, of course, word spreads. So I've been very busy, but I didn't get on social media talking about it until about really like diligently until about 3 years ago. And when I did, it went even more. Um, because, yeah, people around the world, not just Australia, I discovered, are suffering the same problems. And the medical system is just saying, take these awful medications and good luck. You are a bit crazy, and we don't know really what to do with you. See you later. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
quite
that's chronic
incredible,
pain.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
It's quite incredible because I know myself, like the first time that I saw you, I've had both my shoulders done, as a lot of people probably know, full
Yeah.
reconstructions, and I was stuck with range. Like I couldn't move my shoulders or get my hands, straight above my
Yeah.
head. And instantly after seeing you and you sticking a few needles in there, it was gone. Like that pain was gone. I could move. And you don't only do that for athletes, but you do it for people like with migraines and so many different things too. Like, can you explain how that works?
Well, let's use an example. I had a partner of somebody that you know very well
Yeah.
who came in, and years, she's one, another example of the same story, but the other person had it for 6 years. Let's say headache, migraines every day, just ridiculous. And it's simply 3 nerve locks that sit here in the traps. It's just nobody knows about it. It's not in literature. It's not in Google. AI, if you look it up, it's me. That's all, talking about it.
Yep.
So, yeah, needle goes in, resets. I tell the person your traps will now come back to life like it should. And then it will restabilize the area as you do your daily things and stretching and so on. Obviously, you've got to put into the equation anything else in their lives that's going on within their bodies and outside socially. And yeah, it will do its thing. And of course it does. And their pain, headaches disappear and it changes their lives forever.
You really are one of a kind. And yeah,
I appreciate you, brother.
back to what Joshy said, my first experience was a bit like that as well, where I couldn't believe some of the movements and whatnot I was having with my pain. I want to ask you about, elite sports, because obviously we're elite sportsmen, and you mentioned the Broncos all those years ago. Over the span of the 19 or 20 years, or 19 years, you've been going down this path. What elite sports have you worked in? And is there any chance you can name a couple of elite sportsmen that you can name drop that you work with?
Yeah, well, all the Australian swimming team members, since from 2006 to about 2012 was when I said goodbye to swimming, Australian swimming anyway. So all the swimmers, cool. I mean, obviously league players in that time, you can name a few, but and then after that, oh gosh, it's interesting. After the 2012, I sort of steered away from elite athletes, like in your level of athletes, because I needed to do more research. I really honed in harder. I started around 2010 because I saw some things with nerve locks in athletes that were, wow, this will change their game forever. I really believed it because I saw a few things that were really cool. So I went in harder on that because I love working with athletes. That's where I always wanted to be. Chronic pain, yes, of course, bread and butter work, but I love working with athletes. So I went harder, and I actually said no to athletes for a very long time, just so I can get everything right. And I tested it and tested and tested. I did this thing with there's some really top CrossFitters here in Australia. And I remember in 2016, 17, there was a competition in Brisbane called the Torian Pro. Big comp. And it led into the World's Championship, CrossFit. And I had 10 of the athletes come in, girls and boys. And I said, literally 3 days before, I reset you. And I'm going to guarantee that all of you will lift your PB on comp day. Guarantee it. Otherwise, I'll treat you all for the rest of this year for free. Just for fun.
And what happened?
They all lifted 20 kgs heavier. One bloke got his PB by only a couple of kgs because he had gastro on the day.
Okay.
But that was like, I said, tick, this is it. So I kept going harder, and I finally finished the data about 2.5 years ago. And then I met Richie, Daniel Rich, and then Dane Zorko. And that was it. And then Josh Dunks, and then everyone else started coming. But in this time, I also did some cool stuff with singers.
That's cool.
So my athletes were actually singers, vocal athletes. So this is something that I don't really talk about a lot anymore on socials because I just haven't emphasized it. But yeah, I did a lot of singers. So a lot of the Australian singers know the Jimmy Bostock nerve lock methodology. So yes, I've done a lot of singers. Name dropping, oh gosh, all the top Australian singers you can imagine, all of them. Guy
Sebastian. Oh, there you go.
To Jimmy Barnes, Keith cool. Urbans, and some internationals as well. All of them. For their voice,
it's incredible
as vocal athletes.
That's cool.
But my main passion was obviously you guys. Sporting athletes. So that's why I'm so excited to have released this about 2.5 years ago now. And starting with the Lions boys. And yeah, the word is slowly spreading. Yeah.
That's good. It's good, Jimmy. Very, very good. What's the best story you've got for us? People aren't
Best,
overly happy with needles. Like, have you got any good stories? You obviously don't name names, but has there been any situations that you've been treating and something funny's happened?
mate.
No, name names if you want.
Yeah, the craziest one. Oh well, it's not a big name, but I was this young lady. Her mum came in, and I had to help her. She's a ballet dancer, elite level ballet dancer, and I was helping her. And the needles came out, and the mum just I hear this greatest
Fainted.
like
No way.
the sound when the head hits the ground, that
Mm.
awful sound. Oh, and she is gone. So the mum actually, and bleeding, and I had to help her. So that wasn't great. But a real good one that really still gives me a lot of joy, apart from obviously working with you guys, but in chronic pain, is this beautiful 18-year-old who flew out from America. She's a softball, plays softball, and for 3 years she was rehabbing this pain that sat right here, right there.
Yep.
She had to go through 2 major surgeries. They cut her down the spine, opened up her muscles to try and find the solution, find the problem, because nothing was working for her over there. They were injecting her. They were feeding her medications. They were physiotherapy, osteopaths, chiropractor, massage, all the tools, zapping it, vagus nerve stimulation, everything.
Wow.
And the surgeon's like, I'm going to cut it open because something has to be wrong. We can't see it on MRI scans. She's had like multiple, you can't imagine. Cut her open, nothing. Stitched her up. They did it again a year later because the pain was still there. Cut her open again. This beautiful girl, this massive scar down her back. And she's an elite softballer. She couldn't play softball. And found nothing. Stitched her back up, rehabbed her again for 6 months. And just the tears in that session was unbelievable because the whole family was there. They all flew out together. And 3 nerve locks.
That was
Gone.
it. Wow.
That's
It's
amazing.
Just like gone.
So,
and she still messages me today. She's playing softball again. She's just like, I can't believe it.
So I was going to say then, my I guess my last question for you, Jimmy, is like what are your future aspirations? And like you mentioned, obviously international athlete, you don't necessarily probably get to see her as much as you'd like. But again, going off what you said earlier, you're someone who once you see him, you want to fix the problem there, and they don't have any issues again going forward. But what are your aspirations for this going forward? Like, is it working in elite sport, or is it being solo and being able to impact many people in their life, whatever it may be?
I think more the latter, as you say. I'm just really passionate right now for athletes and nerve locks and the journey that it will change for them. So like this, I don't have to treat her for that again. But she's not getting bashed up every weekend, right? In football is different. A tennis player is different. A golfer is different because of the traumas are different. Movements are different. But ultimately is to be able to just have an impact on a person's life to help them get on the right path so their bodies are thriving as an athlete continuously. So if you look at dunks, that's our mission. Obviously, because you're here in Brisbane, and Zorko, same thing, right? But for athletes, is to not help athletes not doubt their bodies ever, physically. You only stop because emotionally your body is saying, "I'm done. I'm ready to stop," but not physically. Never physically, because your body has an amazing ability to adapt and change. And when I release these things, the nervous system can just keep propelling you forward as an athlete. So that's really my passion with athletes. Is I want athletes to feel that and just never ever doubt their bodies. If they injure themselves, yeah, of course, but the recovery, the growth again that comes, it's crazy. And the data we got with the Lions this last season was crazy, wasn't it, Dunk? So that's my passion, and have an impact. So international athletes, I did a trip last year to America and introduced it there. That market is ginormous. So I'm holding off on that at the moment. I really want to help the Aussies just keep growing the knowledge and the passion here. But yeah, because I don't really have to I don't have to spend a lot of time with somebody. It's like reset, done. Your body should do this. Away you go. Obviously, if you're in football, it's a different story. But if you're a golfer, great, awesome. I met a few PGA golfers last year, sorry, which was awesome. And yeah, reset, you're good. Let's go. You should be good for the year. I'll see you in your off season if you want to tune up. That sort of thinking. Yeah. So to have an impact, Australia, international athletes, which is happening now. We've got a lot of people flying in. And that's great. It's what I envisaged way at the beginning. Just to be able to go in, be the ninja in the background, do the work. See you later. I'm done. Everyone's happy. Athletes happy. The team's happy. Staff's happy. I'm good. Yeah, that's the whole point.
Nah, it's been a very interesting chat, Jimmy, and thanks again for coming on, mate. But if you are sitting there
Thanks, guys.
and feel like you've got something that Jimmy could help with, myself and Ads both would attest to reaching out to him and making sure you get in touch, because it's quite it's life-changing, some of the stuff that you're doing, mate. So very appreciative of not only coming on the podcast tonight, but also the work you've done for us too, mate. So thanks again.
Appreciate you, bud.
Yeah. We'll talk. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Thanks, Jimmy. I'll add in my little 2 cents. I love that you're passionate about what you do, and you're very much a people's person. And when you go and get treatment from you, if you want to call it treatment or whatever it is, you can genuinely feel the warmth and feel the love, which is what you want when you're going to see a professional who's trying to help you, whether it's physical, mental, whatever it may be. So, not only myself, I know Josh can vouch for that as well. So, we love you, mate.
Thanks.
And keep doing what you're doing.
I love you guys.
You're helping many people.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You guys are awesome. And yeah, congrats on this awesome. It's awesome. I love the concept, love the colors. This is awesome. And thank you. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Righto, mates. What a man Jimmy is. That was a great chat. And for the listeners, you could sense the energy through the microphone. That's exactly what he's like. He's a ball of energy, so he's a ripper. Thanks, Jimmy. Tipping this week. So the game, which I think we're back to, which I've only just recognised this as I go through the rounds. Beautiful. No more buys until there's buys further on. Yeah. So, which I love, because I want to watch as much footy as I can over the weekend. And when there's only one game on, you don't get to choose between what you want to watch. So it's good. We'll touch on the all game at the end, because that's a ripper. That's a beauty. Friday night, 2 games. We've got Good Friday too, by the way. So very special. Very special day to play on. The Bulldogs used to play on that day. We don't anymore. So very special. First game's North Melbourne v Carlton at Marvel Stadium. Who you got?
It's hard to see Carlton getting beat, but I feel like the Kangas under the roof at Marvel Stadium might be a danger game, and so I'm gonna go with the Kangas. I feel like it's gonna be a very emotional night, as you mentioned, with the Good Friday and all that happening. But yeah, I'm going to go North.
That's huge. That is huge. Well, I'm going to go Carlton. I think they'll have a lot of momentum off their win against the Eagles, so I'm going Carlton. The other game that night is West Coast versus Essendon at Optus Stadium.
Yeah, I'll tip the Bombers in this one. I think they got their mojo back last week, and it started to look pretty good, so I think they'll be too strong.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go the Bombers, but a home game for the Eagles. No doubt they'll come out with some big momentum, so hopefully they can make it a good contest, but I think Essendon. The Saturday games, 1:20 MCG, Melbourne versus Fremantle.
I'll tip the Dockers. I think they're in some good form as well, coming over to Melbourne. They've obviously been on the road for a couple of weeks now, so that might play a bit of a part in the game, but I think it'll be a close one, but Freo will win.
It's an interesting one because Melbourne, mate, believe me, here in Melbourne, they're getting, they're in the news, it's fair to say. It seems to be every day. And Freo, they play here well. I think back to when Melbourne were, I think, 21, 22, 23, when they were obviously winning and higher up the ladder. Freo would seem to be the team that would knock them off here. So I'm going to go Freo. We're agreeing on basically, two of the three. So the next game, Adelaide Oval, Adelaide versus GWS. This is probably the game of the round. If I look, actually, your game's probably game of the round, but Adelaide Giants, who you got?
I'll tip the Crows at home. I feel like they
Your boys.
would. Yeah, I don't know. I've just got this weird feeling that they're going to be good this year, and after last week's disappointment against the Cats, they'll get it done against the Giants.
I'm going to go the Giants. I'm going to go opposite to you. Giants. Marvel Stadium, Saturday night, Richmond versus the Gold Coast Suns. Who you got?
I'll tip the Gold Coast Suns, but I do like the way Richmond are playing at the moment. They're still, obviously blooding a lot of youth, but still playing some really good footy in patches. So the consistency will come over the time, but I'll tip the Suns. They'll be too strong. I
agree with you there, Richmond, and it's almost reflective in their fade outs. So they start really, really well, and then has been some fade outs. But I agree with you. Gold Coast will be too good. Sunday games, we've got the SCG, Sydney versus Port Adelaide.
Good game of footy, this one. I'll tip Sydney at home.
I will go Port Adelaide upset. Got their mojo back. Yep, Port Adelaide upset. Our game, we'll touch on. We'll go to the Monday game. We'll go to the Monday game, which is the Easter Monday game that they do every year, but the Geelong and Hawthorn rivalry, which is going to be a great game because obviously Hawthorn lost in the way that they lost on the weekend, and they tend to play these games. Do you remember for a good 10, 12 years, these games were like almost the games that you wanted to watch every year? Who you got?
Oh, this is a cracking game. There's a lot of good games this round. This is probably, in my opinion, one of the pick of them. Hawthorn coming off a loss that they would be very disappointed in. Geelong in some good form, finished the game strongly. I'm going to say Geelong. I think Geelong, if they can slow Hawthorn's ball movement down and, get it into a game of their style, then they'll get the chocolates. But if it's a bit erratic, I think the Hawks win. But I'll stick with Geelong.
Okay, well, I'll go Hawthorn just because, I think Geelong will win as well, but I just want to be different to you, so I'll go Hawthorn. But it wouldn't I'm confident in that tip too as well. So I feel like they'll really bounce back and get themselves up for this game. Our game, we'll quickly brush over our game because I'm not playing, and then we'll touch on your game last. So it's going to be a great game. I mean, St Kilda, I don't know the stats behind it, but I would suggest that they are 1 or 2 in how they start games. And what I mean from their first to, basically half time. So they start games really well. And again, they started very, very good on the weekend against the Giants. And they looked very good. So, it's going to be a great game. I mean, we've got no doubt that they're going to come out and play with an intent where they have really been, I'll use the word brutal in their approach, which is a good thing. Like they're very adversarial, if you want to call it. They are strong in the contest. They really attack the ball. They hunt in numbers. So that's been really reflective in their games and in particular in their wins. So, they're a very, very good side on their day and, again, been reflective in how they've won their games of footy this year. So it's going to be an interesting one for us. Hopefully we get the skip back. Hopefully, I know in the injury report, I'm following the social media injury report that Belly puts up for the Western Bulldogs website. So hopefully the skip's back this week, which would be enormous for us. But, looking forward to this game. It's a Sunday night, 7:20, which is a great time slot because that means there's footy basically on all day, every day. So going to be a good game and hopefully we can get the job done.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that one. Nader's obviously playing his first game against you boys, which will there'll be a lot of banter out there between Libba and Nader for sure. I can tell you that for free. But yeah, it's going to be a cracking game. Historically, these games have been very, very close. I think last year was a bit of a blowout, 60 or 10 points to you boys. But prior to that, my thing is completely wrong. 51 points to the Saints, 28 to the Dogs, 111 to the Dogs in 2021. It was before that. It was like the 2020 before that era where the games were very close. So looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a cracking game, and yeah, may the best team win.
Hopefully we do. Your game. So this is a great game. And this is the same time slot every year, I believe, because I played in a few of these games when I was playing for the Maggies, and I really looked forward to these games. I know that the boys are there now. Basically travelled over from Adelaide to Queensland, and they really build, just some camaraderie together throughout the week. So I've got no doubt you guys, fully expecting a team that is playing the way that they are outside of round one. They're right up there as the informed teams of the comp. It's going to be an exciting game. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, it's going to be a cracking game. It is cool how they do this every year. It's been something that I actually didn't really think about until I played at Brizzy. Like looking from afar, you don't really notice that it happens every year at the same time on the same day. But no, I think from a footy perspective, it's going to be a great game. Hopefully we can, as I talked about earlier, rock up early on in the game and play a good first half, because we know the Pies love to start well, and their brand of footy is very hard to play against and peg back. So we definitely can't give them that head start early on, and I feel like there's so many different factors to the game that'll be important, but they're key players, in Dacos and the likes. Like if we let them get on top early, then it's going to be very hard to chase down. So really looking forward to it. We had a bit of a squiz at them yesterday in an opposition analysis meeting, and it was everything you just said before. Like apart from their round one game against the Giants, they've been spot on with everything. So going to be a great contest.
Certainly will be. I'll have all my eyes on it, and I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully, it wasn't this game where the lights went out 2 years ago, was it? Or was it?
Nah, that was the D's.
Okay. Well, hopefully there's none of that, and hopefully can be put on a ripping game and you boys get the job done.
Hopefully. That's it, mate. I think of all I've got to do now is ask you my killer question, then we're done. So I've got one for you.
Let's go.
I've got one for you. All right. So do you watch TV shows a number of times so you can just sit there on your phone and not pay attention?
No.
So you never sit there on your phone and you've got a TV show going on in the background that you've watched before? Never do that?
Nah, I would say I do it with movies, but not with TV shows.
Oh, similar thing, TV show or movie. So talk me through your thinking behind that. So you've watched a movie before and you're sitting there and you've just got it on in the background, you're on your phone, you're not even paying attention. Why? Why do you do it?
Well, I don't really do it. You've asked me, have I ever done it? Yeah, I've done it. But if we're saying out of 100 times, I've probably done it maybe 3 times. Like, what? And why would I have done it in those 3 times? I've got no idea. I think because I know what's happening in the movie, maybe.
Yeah, you're on your phone.
Yeah. Well, if it's a movie that I've already watched and I know it, maybe, yeah. Well, I don't know. Well, like, what's the question? Do I do it? Yeah. Like, do I do it?
The question is why?
Oh, why do I do it? Well, my answer would be the times that I've done it is because I know the movie, I know what happens, and it's only on there for noise, really. And then when a good bit comes up, I'll put my phone down and watch it. And then, when it's a shit bit again, I'll probably just jump back straight on the phone. But I don't jump on my phone when I watch something.
So you're just after a little bit of background noise. That's all you're after.
Yeah. Yep. You?
Mate, I'd never do it. I can't watch something twice. Like, I just can't. Tipper does it all the time. That's where I got the question from. But I wonder, Brado, do you do it, Brado?
Yeah. If I don't sit down and go, I'm definitely watching this show and I'm giving it all my attention. Like sometimes I'll start a season and then I just won't give it enough attention. I'll pull out my phone and then that's dead. I can't ever start that season again. But
Yeah, but I'm saying
it's brain
I'm
rot.
saying you've watched this show before.
Yeah, like I put on The Office, like a season that I've watched over and over and over again, and I kind of get the gist of it, and it's just good vibes in the background. No, I do that. Yeah, I do that.
So your reason for doing it is just good vibes. Is that it?
It's because I got brain rot, mate. It's just I sit there, and if there's not something getting 100% of my attention, I feel like I can still fill that little space. So it's like I got to be on my phone. I got to have the TV going in the background. I've probably got like colored lights in the room. It's just we're all screwed. We're screwed. We sat here last week, and when we were going through the tech issues on the internet, and ads flicking through his Instagram, his algorithm is just the most wildest sounding thing. And each video, he'd pause on it for about 0.5 of a second. You'd hear the first like 2 words of it, and then you'd flick on. That's who we are now, and we need to accept it. The quicker we can accept it, that we have no attention span, we're just mush.
It'll probably be Robbie McComb sending me funny videos. So
it was like a cooking one into a sports one into like an ASMR one into like a.
There was no ASMR. Come on.
We all know you love it. I like ASMR too. It's one of those things that you kind of you love mukbang.
That's the old me, mate. I've changed.
We know you love mukbang, watching people eat.
Nah, not anymore, mate. I've matured. No, I can't deal with that. Far out. I was about to say the F word there, but whoa. You ever sit down listening to Josh eat or drink? That's what it sounds like.
I have a curly question that I was thinking of. I've asked a couple of people this week. What would you rather? It's more of what would you rather? Mm-hmm. You know gravel that makes up like roads, like that gravel. You take a handful of gravel, you put it in your mouth, and you just chew as hard as you can, so it smashes all your teeth. Or you hold your fist up, so like just a clenched fist, and someone hits your fist with a baseball bat as hard as they can. So it would just smash all the bones into your hand. You'd probably just have a mushy sack of blood and little cartilage and shattered bones and probably blood everywhere. Which would you rather?
I'm taking the fist.
I can't deal with anything with my teeth, so I'd get whacked in the knuckle.
You'd probably lose your hand.
Oh, well, good. At least I can chew and eat food still. Mark, watch my mukbangs and ASMRs according to you.
See? He does love it. He does love it.
Hey, we know we're all we know what showbiz is, and we know what media does, and we like to milk stories. We like to play it up. Right now, I'm just playing up that story that I love me ASMRs and my mukbangs when I know how I live. I know what I watch every single day. So I don't need to feed your ego, Joshy, and Brado, I don't need to feed your ego either.
See, it's a better story than the fact you don't pick up your dog poo and that one where you scratch your balls and then you sniff your hand. That's a better story. We got to get something on Dunks. Dunks is like squeaky clean. I reckon once we finish the podcast, he just turns the light off and goes to sleep in his seat.
He probably does. He's the most professional bloke. Nah, but in fairness, he's perfect. Josh is perfect.
I see. He's the bench line.
You know who you got to ask? You got to ask Tipper. We got to get her on next week and ask her.
It's got to be something. Then it's the squeaky clean ones that you got to keep an eye on.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, that's all I got for you. Oh, and the tipping. The tipping heat.
Yes.
It's getting closer. Dunks clawed back 2 points on this week. So there's a four game tipping margin.
Beauty. Well,
this week, there's a few different ones this week.
Might be able to catch up this week, so hopefully he doesn't.
This week we're going to do a giveaway, and I'll decide whether it's a hat or a shirt. So make sure that you send in your answers to the question of what is your best curly question. I want random stuff. I don't want, what would you rather do out of this and that, or this, like if you're in this seat of a plane. I want an actual thought about curly question, like I've sort of been doing over the first few weeks of the season. So send in your best one, and if you get it plug next week on the podcast, you'll be the winner and I'll be in touch. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks Adzi, thanks Brado, and thanks to Jimmy Bostock, our guest. We'll see you all next week.
This episode is brought to you by our friends at Brooks Blooms, your all-in-one landscaping solution.
Brooks Bloom's 3-step landscaping experience offers a seamless journey from design to construction and ongoing care, ensuring your outdoor space thrives year-round.
Visit brooksblooms.com today to embark on your landscaping journey, where every step is a step towards a vibrant and beautiful outdoor entertaining space.